upstate of South Carolina. But inside Little John Coliseum, sellout house to watch the Tigers at number 16. Duke in the lineups. Clemson back to a lineup that features Jerron Blossomgame, the redshirt freshman from north of Atlanta. And then the Duke lineup has been flexible, but this one was pretty good Tuesday night to win over Georgia Tech.
Ryan West, as Coach K told us before the game, I mean, it's a very flexible team. There are a lot of different ways that he can go and a lot of different lineups that he can use during the course of the ball game.
So the Blue Devils, who beat the Jackets by 22 on Tuesday night, and Clemson lost here by 15 to Florida State on Thursday night. And our forward keys to the game here today, G-Man.
Well, I think the big thing for Duke is going to be competing inside. Coach K talked about the fact that Clemson is a very good rebounding team, so they want to compete and keep people out of pain. And for Clemson, Brad Brownell really wary of the Blue Devils' ability to knock down three-point shots.
We'll pay attention to those matchups at the defensive end. Clemson is one of the best scoring defensive teams nationally. They're number one in the ACC at 53.5 points allowed through their first 14 games.
Rod, as Mike said, you know, sometimes those numbers can be misleading because everybody plays a different non-conference schedule, different level of schedule. Things will tend to even out as the ACC season goes along.
Tigers got off to a slow start here on Thursday night. They win the tap, and Rod Hall handles it against Quinn Cook. And Duke in a tight man-to-man. Roper a three off the top.
I really believe a good offensive start to this game is going to be key for Clemson. They really had trouble scoring against Florida State. 16 points in that first half.
Doesn't get much better than that, though. Opening possession, a triple. And now the Blue Devils handle it. And here is Cook, who's been very good for Coach Krzyzewski. Parker, two-pointer, rimmed out, Noko the rebound.
Well, they've got Blossomgame guarding him. He's giving up some size, so I'd imagine Parker would work inside more.
Hall had it swatted out by the rookie. Clemson will keep possession. Boy, he can erase a lot of mistakes in the front court, Mike.
They talk about Duke not being a big team, but he leads them with blocks at 17, and nice help side recovery that time.
Blossomgame handling against Emil Jefferson, who's been an outstanding rebounder for the Blue Devils, particularly in conference play.
I think Rod Hall is going to be critical today, the guy with the ball and then trying to initiate the offense. And great defense by Cook to start to get the 5-second call.
So a turnover by the Tigers.
And you were here to witness that game, and that was a huge part of that loss. I mean, Florida State was outstanding defensively, but those 18 turnovers, big key to that win.
Clemson has not shot the ball well in their two league games. They survived 2-point win at Boston College last Saturday, and then only shot 30% from the floor here in Thursday night's loss to Florida State. Here's Hood to the rim. Can't score, blocked out of there. Noko cleans it up. And here are the Tigers with 90 seconds gone. Third possession for Brad Brownell's team. Blossomgame, drive, can't score. McDaniels couldn't get to the rim to catch it. It'll belong to the Blue Devils.
Outside of that first three, you can see that the Clemson kind of in attack mode right now. Want to try to, they don't necessarily have a post-up guy. Noko probably comes closest so that you can throw a ball into, but they want to attack off the dribble.
Suleiman's been double figures 3 of his last 4 games. Here's Cook on the drive. Suleiman, the foul line jumper. Noko had it, lost it. Parker got it back, and a whistle and a foul. Landry Noko, the sophomore from Yaoundé in Cameroon, his first, and #1 on the Tigers.
Well, Rashid Suleiman admittedly came into this year out of shape, and he's finally starting to round into form, was second in the voting for Rookie of the Year last year, and it's starting to have flashes of those types of plays.
Tigers get into the bench. Sidi Jete onto the floor for the first time, a freshman from Senegal. And he's called for the foul as the drive by Jefferson. Terry Waymer, the umpire today with Dwayne Gladden, our referee Brian Kershaw. And Mike Krzyzewski, now in his 34th season at Duke, 896 wins with the Blue Devils.
You could have a week-long series on his accomplishments. It's tough to do it in 10 seconds.
Remarkable. Hall off the Blue Devil miss. McDaniels against Hood. Fall away below the foul line. Rims in for KJ McDaniels.
We're going to keep an eye on that all game long. That's a great matchup. Two scorers going at one another. Two pretty good defenders as well.
5-0 the Tigers.
Already a third of the way to their output of the first half in the last game.
Exactly. Here's Jefferson off the nice pass from Cook for the first Blue Devil basket.
So we talk about guys that you can't throw the ball into. Jefferson, not one of those guys either, but he's going to play off of dribble drives into the lane and get on the offensive glass. That's where he's going to be most effective offensively.
Blue Devils on the board with the bucket by Jefferson, the sophomore from Philadelphia. Here's Roper in traffic. Two-pointer good over the top of Parker. Jordan Roper's got 5. That equals his total from Thursday night against Florida State. Clemson's hit 3 of their first 5 from the floor.
Well, to be in this game, Wes, in most games, they've got to have really good performances from Roper, Hall, and McDaniel. They can't afford subpar nights from either one of those guys.
Cook trying to slide baseline. In the corner, Parker the 3. Good. Jabari Parker's 22nd triple of the year, Mike.
And that's, coming into the year, they talked about you can't define this kid and what position he plays. He plays 1 through 5.
Duke trails 2. Jeté tried to get it to Blossom Game. He went the other way. Clemson turns it over. And the second Tiger turnover, but Jordan Roper's given him a couple of nice buckets here.
Yeah, good change of direction that time, and he's the core left-handed player, much better going in that direction, showing that he had the game manager. Here's Parker. I mean, just shoots 50% from the floor, 41% from 3.
And another one. 6 straight Duke points to the freshman from Chicago.
And people in Duke Nation worried about this two-game slump that he had. It looks like he's cracked out of that early.
Yep. Has struggled in his first 2 conference games, particularly from the floor where he was 6 of 22. No ill effects so far here in the first 4 minutes and change from Clemson. 8-7 Duke with its first lead. McDaniels tried to shoot Clemson back in front. Cannot.
Had a shorter Thornton on him. Surprised he settled for that jump shot. Didn't try to get something closer to lane.
Parker, a third try won't go. McDaniels the rebound. Hall will push it ahead. Roper couldn't hang on, and Clemson turned it over for a third time. That'll get us to our first time out here at Little John Coliseum, a sellout house today. Watching ACC basketball.
And he's gotten off to a quick start. Duke has 4 players shooting over 40% from 3. He's one of them. If he has a small guy guarding him, he goes into the block. If he has a big on him, he'll pull him outside. Very tough matchup for anybody in the league.
Like 15 games into his college career, what do you see he needs to focus on? He's got so many gifts, and it's been talked about so much, but what do you see as maybe a weakness he's got to polish up?
Well, I would say probably, and Coach K would probably say the defensive end of the floor, and and he's going to have to guard bigs. And you wonder if the effect of that may be wearing him down a little bit on that end of the floor. Even playing guys who aren't scoring, just having to block them out.
Boy, Rodney Hood's been fantastic against the league, averaging 27 through his first 2 ACC games, and his first points today, a triple. Well, they're the second best 3-point shooter in the league.
And you know how good that team was last year. Many felt in practice he was the best player on the team then. They knew what they were getting this year.
Tigers have got DeMarcus Harrison on the floor for the first time from Greenwood, South Carolina, and a transfer from BYU. Here's McDaniels on the drive, scores and tries to do another foul. Foul going to be on Hood. It will be his first, number 1 on Duke. The basket for McDaniels, his second field goal.
Yeah, pretty good. And then so what happened is that Parker just couldn't go there. He used the rim well that time. If he had gone right over the front, I think Parker would have had a chance to get the block. But putting a little distance out there, that's a tough shot.
Rodney Hood will check out. Andre Dawkins into the ball game. The graduate student from Chesapeake, Virginia. 4 already from McDaniels, the number 4 free throw shooter in the ACC at 87%. He's got 5 of Clemson's 10.
That's the thing. I mean, when you put the rest of his game and then you put an 80% free throw shooting on top of that, that's where you turn to make that jump as a big-time scorer.
Jefferson to Parker, working against Josh Smith. Down the lane, the contact before the block by McDaniels. And Smith will pick up his first, Mike, the 3rd on Clemson. And Brad Brownell, disappointed mightily over Thursday night's loss to Florida State, had to regroup his team quickly here.
Yeah, he's got 3 sets of games with just a one-day turnaround. So, and that may not be the worst thing in the world. You know, to get out. He said that he had some small group meetings, a meeting as a team, and then just kind of shed that game, and you had to move on to get prepared for this one early.
45-year-old native of Evansville, Indiana, who played high school basketball with the former Indiana Hoosier great Calvert Chaney. The second one good by Parker.
That last example, again, Parker, they got a big guy on him now. He pulled him out. You have to honor the 3, so that sets up the drive, and he gets to the free throw line.
Duke with a 3-point lead. Smith, who started the ball game on Thursday night, gets it to Harrison. On the drive, forced up, wouldn't go. Blossom game, stripped of it on the strip back, and a foul against the Blue Devils here, G-Man.
Again, an area, and we touched on in the beginning of an area of concern for Mike Krzyzewski was the Clemson Tigers on the glass, especially on the offensive glass.
Free throw by Deron Blossom game. He's just 5 of 11 now at the line. Clemson is 5th in the league in rebound margin. Duke is 13th in rebound margin.
Yeah, they're a +2, and given the fact of their lack of real size out there, that Mike, he thinks his team has been rebounding adequately and staying in games, not getting killed in that category.
2-point lead for the Blue Devils. Here's Cook. Slips it to Parker for the dunk. Well done. The setup by Quinn Cook, outstanding.
Yeah, sometimes freshmen can allow their offensive game to affect other areas, and you can just see more of a spring in his step. Parker here early with the quick start.
He's got 10. Duke's lead is 4. Poked away that time. 3-on-1. Cook will bounce across, and Dawkins fouled on the way to the rim.
Well, you talked about it. Cook, second in the conference, 6.1 assists, getting into the lane, breaking down the defense, and opening things up for Jabari Parker. But scoring, he had to steal on the last possession. He had a block early. Parker doing it all so far.
Yep. He's hitting all the categories.
Duke, no turnovers so far in this game. Clemson already 4. The thing that's helping Clemson, though, is that all of those have pretty much, except for that last one, have been dead ball turnovers where they've been able to get back.
Dawkins, 85% at the stripe. Both free throws good. Duke as a team, 4th in the league at almost 74% entering play today.
Well, we talked about Suleiman rounding into form, and Andre Dawkins is too. After all that time away from the sport, he's finally starting to find a little bit of an offensive rhythm.
Filer's come in the ball game. Sophomore from Chicago handling it for the Tigers. And McDaniels a shot fake on Dawkins and a step-in jumper no good. Blossom game tried to clean it up. Got blocked from behind. Deron one more time. It scores. Pretty good second and third effort by Blossom game.
Yeah, no question. A good initial play, and this is, again, what Duke has to do is defend and get that first rebound. Blossom game keeping the ball alive, not getting frustrated with the initial block, and then getting rewarded with the 3-point opportunity here.
Parker takes a break for the Blue Devils. And the redshirt freshman from Alpharetta, Georgia, can't knock the free throw down. Well, both these teams kind of digging into the bench here a little bit in the first 7 minutes, too.
Well, I think they don't want Parker to get that second foul quickly, get him out of the game, but this is an opportunity now for Clemson with him out of there to get some ground.
Hood can't knock down the 3. Tyler Thornton tries to recap and does.
And see, that's the value of Tyler Thornton and Josh Hairston as well. Thornton, a great 3-point shooter, but Hairston made that play with the tap out and the rebound.
And Brad Brownell takes a timeout. Clemson falling behind 7. So a 30-second timeout for the 4th-year coach of the Tigers. Duke has hit 4 of their first 5 threes. The Tigers hit their only 3, and that was the opening basket from Jordan Roper in the ball game here today. So the Blue Devils trying to pick up the road win. Lost last Saturday at Notre Dame. beat Georgia Tech by 22 on Tuesday night in Durham, thanks in part to 9 of 23s. Mike, they're first in the league, averaging better than 9 a game in 3.
Yeah, and that's what they've built that team this way. We talk about their versatility, and Mike Krzyzewski, the very challenging schedule they played in the non-conference. They're a young team, and coming in, their 2 best players that never played a minute for Duke with with Parker and Hood.
I thought his comment to us today before the game was interesting. Not a powerful team, but a versatile team.
Yep.
And he's clearly trying to find that versatility. And it's more than just 5 guys.
And I thought you made a great point today about, and we were talking about maybe built like his national teams are built.
Here's Roper to the foul line. Can't hit it. Whoa! Blossom game. Caught it coming off the back of the rack. What a start for the redshirt freshman. He's got 5 now for Clemson.
It's a really smaller team for Duke out there, and they are going to have to rebound as 5, everybody blocking out.
Pressured by Fowler is Cook to Hairston. And now Cook on the drive into traffic. Forced it up. Couldn't get the roll. McDaniels the rebound. 5-point lead for the Blue Devils, G-Man.
Yeah, that's a good timeout by Brad Brownell to get his group together again, give them some confidence.
Foul on Cook will be his first, number 4 against the Blue Devils. And Jerron Blossom game punches this one back home for Clemson.
Not having a post scorer, so I think what that's going to allow him to do is roam a little bit, play center field in that lane, and be a little bit more able to help.
Both these teams are 6 of 13 from the floor. Duke has hit 4 threes early. Clemson just 1, and the Blue Devils have cashed in 8 points on 4 Tiger turnovers. Clemson has yet to get any points at all, and there have been no Duke turnovers. McDaniels right back to work on Hood with the left hand, can't score. And that is Rodney Hood's 2nd and the 5th on Duke with 11:33 to go in the first half. And there comes Tyler Thornton off Coach Krzyzewski's bench. My guess is he's coming for the sophomore transfer from Meridian, Mississippi, Rodney Hood. McDaniels' free throw is good. Mike, you've seen a lot of guys who are great athletes in this league. But have you seen a 6'6" guy that plays around the rim as well as KJ McDaniels does?
No, and we were talking about it. I wonder if there's ever been a 6'6" guy who's led the conference in block shots. But it's just looked like he's evolved into more. I think he was an athlete in the last couple of years, evolving into a basketball player.
Duke lead cut to 3 on the McDaniels free throws. Cook fires for 3. No good, and Andre Dawkins punches it back home for the Blue Devils. His first field goal.
Wow, I mean, Norton usually associate him with perimeter play, but he had a free run right to the rim. Nobody put a body on him.
Back to a 5-point Blue Devil lead with almost 9 minutes gone in the first half. Noko and Parker battling gives McDaniels a driving lane for the basket.
Well, what actually happened on that play that Noko sealed Parker, and that opened up the lane. He could not get help to block.
9 for KJ McDaniels. And the Blue Devils almost turned it over, but good hustle play on the far side by Tyler Thornton.
Well, he, like Hairston, he makes those little plays, doesn't knock your eyes out statistically.
Jefferson backdoor for the dunk.
It's amazing how both teams are getting to the rim in this game.
Rod Hall. Here's Roper, who had 5 early points for Clemson. A 3. No good. Jefferson the rebound.
Got a little bit of a force, a long 3-point shot early in the shot clock.
Emil Jefferson's had 3 games with 10 or more rebounds this year for the Blue Devils. So sophomore from Philadelphia is molded into a very nice player. Parker, a deep 3, no good. Tigers running. Hall can't scoop it up. They battle inside. And Rod Hall out of the fray.
Well, they're going to look. I mean, Clemson really wants to push because they want to try to manufacture as much easy offense as they possibly can.
Hall into traffic. McDaniels triple away. And finally the Blue Devils carry it in. 5-point game. We work toward 9 minutes to play.
You know, 37% West, but in the last couple of possessions settling for long jump shots instead of attacking the rim. You know, you want to try to go, maybe pick up that second foul on Parker.
Another backdoor cut. Jefferson lost a handle on it. Back to Cook with 10 to shoot. Screen for Cook from Jefferson. Drive, won't go. Roper the rebound. Here's Clemson running again, Mike. Blossom game of 3. Noko inside and a foul, and that might be the first on the freshman Parker. Instead, it's 2 on Dawkins, 6 on Duke.
Yeah, there's that miss, and you just said the timing is right. A lot of times, long shot, you get a long rebound, but that one stayed right into the rim.
Dawkins, not only a year away from basketball, but what he also did was he's in great shape. Maybe better than he was before he took that year off, Mike.
Yeah, and I just think it's getting the basketball shape and the basketball skills back, getting that rust off a little bit.
Ibrahim Jumbo in the ball game gets it to McDaniels. Duke trying to double up McDaniels. Fall away good. He's got 11 and carrying Clemson at the offensive end.
Yeah, almost over half of their points, and then Duke so far they've thrown multiple defenders at them.
Backdoor Parker catches the offense from Cook and then lost it over the end line. Jumbo was there. Clemson collapsed around him.
It was really Harrison, I think, that made the play. They threw the lob over the top, but where Parker got himself into trouble by putting the ball on the floor, and that allowed Harrison to dig it out.
Duke's gone 2 minutes without a field goal. 3-point lead for the number 16 team in the country. McDaniels. Here's Hall now, way out. Off the Noko screen. 8 to shoot for Harrison. Long 2. Back iron miss, no good. The whistle and a foul on Landry Noko. That'll be 2 on Noko, 5 on Clemson. A break in the action at Tiger Town. KJ McDaniels trails by 3.
Season 2, 11 points so far in the game. Pretty good shooting, 4 of 7. Has really mixed it up. The ability to drive in the lane. Can shoot the 3. Also has a pretty good mid-range game, West, as well. But it's right now, Clemson has only 3 players have scored in this game for them. They need some other people to step up and help out Mr. McDaniels.
Yep. KJ McDaniels, 10th in scoring, 10th in rebounds, 1st in blocks, 9th in field goal percentage, 4th in free throw percentage. Tyler Thornton and the Blue Devils looking for another 3. And Smith had it. And a whistle and a foul called on Emil Jefferson, a 6'9" sophomore from Philadelphia. It's his first. And that is 7 on Duke. And 1-and-1s now for Clemson. So Mike Krzyzewski watches the Tigers go to the line, and they are the #1 free throw shooting team in the ACC at 77.5%.
Which historically is a complete anomaly, because if there's been one thing that's been a real weakness with this program for years, it's been the free throw line.
4 of 6 today. The sophomore from Charlotte is Josh Smith, and rattles out the front end of the 1-and-1. So Clemson, 4 of their first 7. And it's a 3-point difference in the game. Suleiman. In traffic, put it up, and a whistle and a foul. And it's on DeMarcus Harrison. It'll be his second. He's the second Tiger with 2. 6 on the Tigers. Landry Noko also plays with 2 fouls.
And that's the thing with Duke and this team, and they'll use Jefferson as a screener, but there's no post presence, and when you have that, you have a lot of driving lanes that open up for you. And for for Brad Brownell. He talked about today just trying to keep people in front of you.
Rashid Suleiman, the sophomore, back in the lineup for a second straight ball game. He started early in the season, then was out of the lineup for a handful of games. Started Tuesday night's victory over Georgia Tech at 11 points, and these are his first points here today. Duke's hit all 5 of their free throws, make it all 6, as Suleiman pushes the lead back to 5. Here's Smith at the head of the circle. Tried to get it to Roper, and trouble brewing.
See, and that's a tough one for Parker to pick up right there. A cheap foul right there that he really didn't have to do.
Josh Smith will go back to the free throw line, where he missed the front end a moment ago. Duke's gone 3+ minutes, Mike, without a field goal. And for a team averaging 84+ a game, that doesn't happen often. Smith missed the free throw.
Well, that was the one thing. I mean, even in the Florida State game, it defended. That, you know, they've been defending really well. You talked about their numbers and where they rank nationally.
There's a poke away. Roper will take it down and dunk it home. Suleiman went down on the play, and Roper's got his 3rd field goal. Suleiman was shaken up on the play. I think he was looking for a foul, didn't get one called, and now Rodney Hood's coming to ball game for Jabari Parker.
We talk about as many easy points that they can get. I think that's Clemson's first 2 points off turnovers that had been a big advantage for Duke in this game.
Yep. Just the second Blue Devil turnover. Clemson's turned it over 4 times. But Duke has 8 points off those 4 turnovers. And a 3-point lead and the basketball for the Blue Devils.
Part of the scoring of the lineup for Duke right now is going to fall to Dawkins and Hood.
And here is Rodney Hood. He'll get the basket and the foul. What a strong take to the basket by Hood.
Yeah, he's got a big on him, and that's a tough finish. If you want people to beat you with your weaknesses, but he goes right, brings the left hand right back into the defender, and still has the strength to finish.
That'll win a lot of places. Second field goal for Hood, the 7th best free throw shooter in the ACC at 86%. Duke's perfect today there as a squad. And the lead is 6 after the 3-point play by Hood. He's got a half dozen here in the first half.
And one of the statistics that Duke usually has during the course of the year, where they have as many makes at the free throw line as their opponent's attempts, and very close to that number right now so far this year.
6-point lead for the Blue Devils. Hall. Blossom game. Now here's McDaniels. Now Hall off the screen. Adonis Filer working against Andre Dawkins with 6 to shoot. Filer, and there's a foul on Smith.
Yeah, he just leveled Dawkins with an illegal screen. Those are the ones that can really shake up a guard.
And a timeout gets Sidi Jete back on the floor to replace Smith.
Well, you can just see he never really gets set and just blindsides him.
5th turnover for Clemson.
Well, you were at the game against Florida State. You said it was one of the more physical games that you've seen.
Yep. And I think Clemson has to be that way a little bit in order to get their tempo going. Because Duke is so offensively gifted and scores at such a pace. I think at the top when we talked about styles, as the foul is called on Tyler Thornton of the Blue Devils, Duke wants this thing to be at 94 feet. Right. Clemson would prefer it to have a little more half-court feel to it, don't you think?
Yeah, I think they want to run opportunistically and, not after every make and miss, but to try to get out and score in the open court, against this team, I think is a plus.
And you got a couple guys that can play at 94 feet, including this one at the line.
Yep.
And the free throw by McDaniels good. He is 4 of 4 at the line. Parker's been on Coach K's bench for a couple of minutes.
Probably try to get it under that 4-minute TV timeout to buy him another minute and a half.
And McDaniels hits the second one. He's got 13 of Clemson's 25 here in the first half. Suleiman slips it all the way across, and the three by Cook, no good. And Jete on the run out, travel. Sidi Jete, the freshman from Senegal, couldn't keep his feet.
Yeah, the people booing, but that's an automatic call for the referee. Once you fall down, it's an automatic travel call.
Terry Waymer, one of the umpires today, and a good one. Was at the Final Four a season ago in Atlanta. Here's Dawkins to Hood for the triple. Rodney Hood. He's got 9 here in the first half. That's his second 3 of the first frame.
Well, that's a big advantage, too, for Duke in this game. Brad right now worried about defending the 3. 5 of 10 now in this game. Clemson only has the 1-3.
The game is 7 for the Blue Devils. Just under 4.5 to play. Here at Little John Coliseum, Duke's beaten Clemson 5 straight times, 27 of the last 29. McDaniel forced it out, can't score it, but draws the foul. And Rashid Suleiman's first. 10 now on the Blue Devils.
Yeah, this is just good ball movement, the pump fake, and then getting him the open shot. Very unselfish play. That's the thing with McDaniels, too. I think the extent that you have to defend him without fouling him, make him take contested mid-range jump shots.
14 first half points. Suleiman out for Coach Krzyzewski, and there is the freshman from Simeon in Chicago, Jabari Parker. And McDaniels, first miss in 7 tries at the line. 6-point game. Cook runs the Blue Devil offense. Hood off the Hairston screen. And McDaniels the rebound. Is that shot too quick, Mike?
Yeah, I think he said maybe just after making the last one, trying to see how hot he really was.
Filer on the drive, and offensive foul on Adonis Filer. Well played by the Blue Devils off the screen. Filer gets the foul. We get a break. With a 6-point lead, and during the timeout here, a senior day 16 years later for Iker Iturbe. Tim Beret, the longtime sports information director, who does color on their basketball network, presenting Iturbe his senior jersey he left for his native Spain in a professional career before his senior season had elapsed. Iturbe, a member of Rick Barnes' first team, the Slab 5 G-Man. Maybe not the best offensive team, but certainly one of the most physical teams Clemson's ever had here.
When you were allowed, and Rick Barnes had a very fiery relationship with a lot of the coaches, including Coach Smith back in those days. And
so Iturbe honored here with his jersey. Adonis Filer, shaken up, has gone to the locker room for Clemson. Roper suffered a cut on the chin. He's been tended to as well. And here is Rodney Hood's foul line jumper, no good. Jete, the freshman, the rebound. Clemson has gone 3 minutes without a field goal. Hall tries to change that, cannot. Hairston the rebound.
You talk about an early shot that maybe Brad Brownell didn't like a lot.
3 minutes to go, and I'd say a pretty critical 3 here for Brownell's Tigers.
Now, you don't want this lead to stretch out to multiple or double figures or higher.
Right. Cook to Hairston.
That has been one of Mike Krzyzewski's mantras, finishing halves. Dawkins just a little bit in too much of a hurry to get that jump shot up at the steps.
4th turnover for the Blue Devils. Remember, Filer went out of the ball game on this drive. Charge was called, and boy, Adonis took a spill, didn't he?
Yeah, it looks like he came down in that hip pretty hard, and that's the one thing against Duke. You know, with Parker out there as a shot blocker, but the other guys are going to step in and take charges, and if you take that dribble one or two too many into the lane, you're susceptible to it. And
Clemson's gone 4 minutes without a field goal. Trails number 16, Duke by a half dozen.
How about a little zone now for the Blue Devils?
Well, you talk about a break from the playbook. McDaniels, long two, no good.
I'll tell you, Mike Krzyzewski spent a lot of time with Jim Boeheim and the national team talking to him about zone philosophy.
Cook on the drive, the scoop and score for junior Quinn Cook. First points of the day for Cook. Blue Devil lead is 8, Mike. We work toward 2 minutes.
Yeah, much more balance of them, and they're going to stay in that zone, test Clemson from the outside. Still only 3 guys for the Tigers that have scored in this game.
McDaniels. Here's Hall. Harrison's hit 12 threes. Clemson needs a bucket here. Drought approaching 5 minutes in terms of field goal scoring. 5 to shoot. They skip it to Hall. This will be a deep 3. On the shot clock, rimmed out. Jefferson and Parker got knotted up together, and Duke has control.
Mike Krzyzewski take another look at this zone for a while. It's been pretty effective against the Tigers.
I'm trying to remember. It's not a number of games. It's more like a number of possessions per year. You see zone out of the Blue Devils. His Hood stuffs it home with 2 hands.
Well, I don't know if Harrison was expecting some help that time, but then, again, they're making Hood go right, but he's still able to finish.
The lead is 10 with a minute to go here. A dangerous 60 seconds for Clemson. Tigers have not had a field goal in almost 6 minutes. And the 3 by McDaniels changes that.
Right, a huge basket by McDaniels, and if it were not for him, this would be another game like the other night where they would have about 16 points.
17 first half points for KJ McDaniels. He's over his average. Almost knocked away. About a 15-second differential in the shot clock and the game clock at the end of this half. Cook, lob, inside Jefferson. Dawkins off the kick out. Drive no good. Blossom gained the rebound. Outlet to Harrison. He's got McDaniels with him. And DeMarcus Harrison will lay it in. 4th Tiger to score. And a timeout for Mike Krzyzewski. They get the 3 from McDaniels. And then the bucket in transition by Harrison.
Yeah, 5 points really quickly. And, you know, the game was, we talked about those 2 minutes and finishing halves, and it looked like it could have gone either way. But the Tigers really got themselves back in it, and the guy who's been carrying them started this all out. The nice driving pitch, and McDaniels, he's got to honor that shot. But he knocks it down, and then getting out transition. I thought they might pull this one back and run some clock. But DeMarcus Harrison going right to the rack.
Well, Harrison becomes the 5th Tiger to score in the first half, and a pretty important basket as well.
My son happy. He's a graduate of Christ School up in Asheville, where my son Noah is.
Yeah. Well, they've turned out some good players here recently.
All the Plumlee brothers have gone there.
Well, Brad Brownell's team shooting 42% in this first half. Just 2 of 7 from 3, Mike. Duke is 5 of 11. Blue Devils have gotten Parker on track. They've gotten Hood on track. But still only a 5-point advantage for the nation's number 16 team. Final 8 seconds. Cook underneath feeds Jefferson and a foul. Sadi Jate, his second, and that is 10 on Clemson. What a nice look by Quinn Cook.
Yeah, and he had a tough time. It was tough to find. Look how many bodies are right there. And Jefferson also having his hands ready, getting ready to catch.
Jefferson is just a 41% free throw shooter. Makes that one. Now 18 of 43 on the year is Emil Jefferson.
Yeah, I think with him, you look, Wes, you get 5 rebounds and 5 points or 5 or 6 points and a half from him. That's good production.
Absolutely. Particularly given how well I think he rebounds for you, right?
Yep.
6-point game. Jete the rebound. And from at the other end of the floor, Blossom game misses, and we get to halftime. Well, could have been double figures for Clemson. 5 straight by the combination of McDaniels and Harrison kept them close. It's 6 at halftime at Littlejohn.
Mine was earned orbiting the moon in 1971.
Lead for Duke. We welcome you back to Littlejohn Coliseum, ACC College Hoops on a Saturday. And the Tigers and Blue Devils meeting for the 135th time, 42nd time in this facility. Duke's won 11 of the last 12 visits here to Littlejohn Coliseum. And the Blue Devils start with the basketball and the 6-point lead here in the second half. And Rodney Hood. Parker working against Blossom game. And a bump and a foul on the redshirt freshman Blossom game. His first and number 1 on Clemson.
Yeah, next shows you know, how talented Parker is. Now, he's got a smaller guy on him, and you think that guy would have the advantage off the dribble, but Parker able to get by him and get a foul called.
Here's Cook. Into traffic and back to Hood.
Let's see, I'm sure Clemson, one of the things at the top of their list is trying to get out and defend three-point shooters better in this half. Make them drivers.
Yep. There is Hood, a deep 3. Wow.
That's as good a defense as you can play on that. That's just a better offensive player making a tough shot.
He's had 5 threes in each of the last 2 ball games for Duke. He gets that number today, he will join a very select group of players that have had 5 threes in 3 straight games. And there's a hand check on Suleiman at the Duke defensive end.
Yeah, this is just man on man, and he gets a little bit of help right there in separation with the screen, but it's still contested by McDaniels.
So Rodney Hood now with 14. Including 3 threes. And the Blue Devil lead 9.
Let's see if Hall can get going offensively.
And he does.
Yeah, they did not score in that first half, and they desperately need that second and third score to emerge. Roper had started to do that at the end of the first, but they need more point production.
He's had 4 double-figure games in his last 6. Had just 5 here on Thursday night in the loss to Florida State. First points today for Augusta's Rod Hall. Hood goes to work again, can't score. Here's Hall and the Tigers. And Hall and Alley scores 4 in a row, Mike. Yeah. And that's where he's at his best, isn't it?
Yeah, on the open floor. We talked about them wanting to get it, push it in transition, the good rebound. And actually, Landry Noko did a nice job of sealing his defender so that Hall could get to the rim.
5-point game. Jefferson, layup no good around Noko. Clemson on the attack again. 3 on 2. Hall to the iron. Can't score it. Noko's dunk follow no good. And now Duke flips the floor. Cook, block, McDaniels. Rod Hall gave him a lot offensively. And now a timeout taken by the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and we talked about him maybe being a little bit more aggressive offensively, and he has delivered.
Mike Krzyzewski, an early break. Tight game at Clemson. The half, but trimmed down to 5 with a couple of minutes gone, and a timeout by Mike Krzyzewski gets his club the basketball. And right to Parker. Blocked by McDaniels. Clemson on the run. Hall to the rim again. Basket and a foul.
Well, Brad Brownell talked about it, that Rod Hall was just never in that Florida State game and really kind of lackluster first half. But he has been terrific. And how about, again, McDaniel at 6'6", cleaning things up. And Rod Hall has been a different player in the first 2.5 minutes here.
Absolutely. 6 for Hall. All 3 of Clemson's field goals in the second half, and now their free throw. He's got all 7 second half Tiger points. And it's a 2-point game, Mike. Seven-0 run by the home team. Hood working against Blossom game. Fall away 2. rolls in softly for Rodney Hood. He's got all 5 of Duke's points.
Amazing with both of those guys how versatile they are. Some guys are three-point shooters, or, you know, there's one aspect that stands out. They both can shoot the 3. They both have a mid-range game, and they both can get to the rim.
McDaniels, that's a 2, and it's short. Noko tried to clean it up and got knocked away on the stick back.
Fortunately, they get their recycle, but there have been a number of possessions in this game where I think that Clemson settled for that long jump shot.
And that one was pretty quick in the possession.
Yeah.
Hall will put it in play. And here's McDaniels. And right back to Hall. Blossom Game couldn't get the screen set. Now he'll take it on the drive. Layup good.
7 for Blossom Game. A real reluctance to throw it into Noko, but that opened up things. Jefferson getting beat on that right side.
Clemson to within 2.
It is really getting physical between McDaniels and Hood.
Jefferson looks back door, nothing. Cook fires for 3. Quinn Cook, his 27th triple of the year. 5 for the junior from Washington.
I mentioned earlier, they've got 4 guys who shoot at 40+, and he's right at 36. When this team is shooting the 3 well, they are tough to beat.
Blossom Game. Here's Roper, who had a hot start for the Tigers, but it's been quiet since. Tried to feed it to Blossom Game, and last touch by Duke. And substitutions both ways here. As Jefferson comes out, Josh Hairston comes in.
Yeah, good screen that time by Hood. Frees Cook up for the look.
Blossom Game again, inside around Hairston. Noko, the rebound, the basket, and the foul. Landry Noko's first points of the day. Jabari Parker's second foul, the 3rd on Duke. Clemson at the line when we come back. To Rod Hall.
And no points in the first half, but he has been very aggressive, getting out in the open floor and scoring. And after that timeout, Mike Krzyzewski bringing in Hairston and Thornton for defensive purposes. And Thornton probably just try to calm Hall down a little bit.
Landry Noko will go to the line as play resumes. Just 9 of 16 at the line this year is Noko. The Tigers today are 8 of 13 at the line. And the free throw, no good. Clemson has left some stuff out there at the free throw line today. And here's Cook, who had the 3 a moment ago for the Blue Dogs. Thornton to Hairston, down the lane, lost it, and last touch by DeMarcus Harrison.
Here's the look, and it's, I don't know if this pass, he just, that one dribble gets him into trouble. Again, Duke fortunate to get the ball back.
Hood. On the drive, Rodney Hood, a foul. Roper tagged with the personal, his first, and number 2 on Clemson. And that's the sophomore from Columbia, Jordan Roper. And here's McDaniels. Nice job, Brad Brownell, using the timeout to give McDaniels a break. He hadn't been off the floor at all in this ball game.
Yep, and just those 30 seconds makes a big difference over the course of 40 minutes.
Boy, nice move, Hood in the paint. 18 now for Rodney Hood. Mike, he's had 27 in each of their first 2 league games.
Well, and it says something, too, about him that he didn't play last year, practiced with the team, and was elected captain this year. That's never happened in the history of Duke basketball. So this shows how much respect they have for him and what he did last year.
Noko. That's like finding money in the couch when he's scoring inside. He's had a couple offensive rebounds for baskets. Those are big points for Clemson.
A little bit more than nickels and dimes, isn't it?
Yeah, those are dollar bills, definitely.
It's a 3-point game with 5 minutes gone here in the second half. Clemson's got 13 offensive rebounds. Cook, a kick out for Hood. 5 to shoot. Nice shot fake. Jumper won't go. Hall the rebound. It got knocked around and kicked. And the ball will belong to Clemson. Landry Noko going to work here, Mike.
Yeah, and we talked about it. Stayed after it. He got good deep position and just got inside of Parker.
They've credited Noko with 9 rebounds. Clemson's wearing it out inside. Hall, bounce pass. McDaniels clutched it and laid it in.
The big thing, Wes, Clemson has not turned the ball over in this half. 6 minutes, they had 7 in the first half. And so they're getting good possessions and they're making shots.
1 point Duke lead in the basketball. Cook off the Hairston screen. 10 to shoot. Eyes up Rod Hall. Lets loose. Can't hit it. Tigers can take the lead. Hall. Noko. Stolen out of there by Thornton.
Yeah, the big guys get themselves into trouble when they put the ball on the floor, and that dribble and good digging by Thornton.
He's made a career of being a pest. Particularly at the defensive end of the floor. Parker, a turnaround. Oh, that was pretty. A dozen now for Jabari Parker on his 4th field goal. The Duke lead back to 3 at 49-46. Adonis Filer, Josh Smith into the lineup now for Clemson. Andre Dawkins, Emil Jefferson out on the floor now for the Blue Devils.
Right, this may be Duke's most explosive offensive team out on the floor right now.
Almost line changes for both schools there, G-Man.
Yep.
Roper a triple. And over the glass, out of play.
Again, early, long 3 in the shot clock. I mean, that just bails Duke out defensively.
You know, Brad Brownell has to be pleased. Most of this game, Clemson showed pretty good patience, haven't they?
Yeah, no doubt. And I think they've been, we'll see how the offense goes now with Hall out of the game.
Parker, a 3 that won't go. And here's the sophomore Filer, averaging under 5 a game. He, Roper, McDaniels, Hall on the bench. He's been a strong second-half performer for Clemson, and a hand check foul on Quinn Cook. His second. 4 now on Duke here in the second half. Tyler Thornton going to return to the lineup for Coach Krzyzewski, replacing Jabari Parker. So 3 guards on the floor now, Mike, with Jefferson and Hood. Filer picked up on the dribble. Noko. Right back to Filer with 20 to shoot here. Duke showed a couple of possessions of zone. It's been all man here in the second half.
Well, if you're McDaniels, you got Thornton on him. Why not go inside, try to post him up?
Roper steps in for a 2. Too strong, and Dawkins the rebound. 3-point lead for Duke. 8 minutes gone, second half. Hood against Smith. And Rodney Hood can't score it, but does draw the foul on Charlotte sophomore Josh Smith. That'll be his 3rd. Well, it's been an entertaining ball game here at Littlejohn today. Tigers and Blue Devils in a good one. Closing in on the mark. I will tell you that the 10 ties him with my partner here. You rolled out 20 or more 10 times as a rookie, huh?
Yeah.
You were a babe in wool at what, 17 years old, right?
Yeah, we lost our primary scorer, Tate Armstrong, to a broken wrist in the first ACC game of the year, and that opened some shots up for Spinoff and myself.
Rodney Hood misses his second free throw attempt of the day. He's got 7.5, 18 in the ball game, averaging 18.5. The 5th leading scorer in the ACC. The sophomore transfer from Mississippi State. Just the 4th transfer, by the way, to the Blue Devil program under Mike Krzyzewski.
Right, and the thing about it, the prior 3 all became first-team all-league players.
Yep.
So it's just not just taking good players to come in.
Adonis Filer, by the way, during the break went to the Tiger locker room. Still, I think, bothered by that hip he banged up in the first half. So the Tigers have plugged Rod Hall back in the lineup. And the junior from Augusta.
Yeah, I thought that stretch where he was out, I thought their offense stagnated a little bit, especially in the half court.
McDaniels to Noko. Turnaround jumper, won't stay down.
They've been a little more willing to throw him the ball. He's been getting some deep possession. Jefferson have to do a little better job fighting over the top.
Here's Hood going to work, lost a handle on it, but Dawkins there to scoop it. And then he had it knocked away. 5th turnover on Duke. McDaniels front court. Roper weaves through traffic. Noko loops it back out for Hall.
And Brad Brownell breathes a sigh of relief as it gets back into reliable hands.
Here's McDaniels with Thornton defending. On the drive against Jefferson. Can't score it. Foul shot good. Landry Noko. 6 all in the second half for a sophomore from Cameroon. The foul on Rodney Hood.
And all off of offensive rebound. This takes place, West, because of the drive. Jefferson trying to come over and help on McDaniel, and that leaves Noko wide open on the weak side glass. This is what a great player can do for you. Just focus so much of your attention on him. It opens other things up.
Noko only had 1 game where he played 10 or more minutes last year against the league. Remember, with Booker and Jennings here, there wasn't a lot of room in the front court. But he has been fighting it at the line today. 0 for 2, and now 50% on the year is Landry Noko. 2-point game for the Blue Devils. Jefferson. Here's Cook with Hall defending. Cook on the drive, blocked out by Noko. 6 blocks today by the Tigers.
There's the look. It's been basically McDaniels doing this, but Noko able to run or play center field a little bit in the lane. Very impressed with how Clemson came back from that drubbing on Thursday night. That could have affected a lot of team psyches.
Hood runs it up with the left hand. Noko the rebound. Lob. No. Blossom game can't score it. Thornton the foul. That would have been something. 6 on Duke. 3rd on the Washington, D.C. senior Thornton.
And this is a great look ahead. He had his eyes up from 3/4 court, saw that coming. Thornton a little bit, again, smaller guy back. Biggs late getting in on the play. Well, you touched on this team being the best in the conference free throw shooting. They're leaving a lot of points, 8 of 16 now at the line.
Yep, 50%. A team shooting 77.5 coming in. 2-point game. It's a 1-point game, Blossom game. Now with 8 in the ball game. 50-49, under 10 to go here at Little John Coliseum. Parker crosses over. Runs it up, won't go, Noko the rebound. Tigers can lead here.
A little bit of a force, I think. Parker a little frustrated not being part of the offense in the second half.
Filer. It's a Blossom game for the lead. Got it.
Once he comes into the game, 3 of 15 from 3. And steps up and knocks down. That was a huge hurdle to get this lead.
Clemson hadn't led since it was 7-5, and they're in front now by 2. Cook tries to answer. Blossom getting the rebound.
4 minutes since the last Blue Devil field goal.
Filer on the drive, had it knocked away. They scramble for it. Loose ball out of there. Here's Cook. He's got Parker. He'll take it down. Parker Put it up and in. The drought over. 14 now for Jabari Parker.
Pretty good play by Quinn Cook. He carried it as far as he needed to. He eyed up Parker, but he held on to it just long enough.
Locked up at 52. In traffic, Noko scores.
Brad Brownell told us before the game, he said he didn't think Noko was quite ready to be that post-up guy, but this game may give him a lot of confidence getting in that direction.
54-52, Clemson in front. Hood. And a bump and a foul before the basket. It's on Noko. It'll be his third. 4 on Clemson.
I can assure you this was not on the scouting report, but Blossomgame drills that huge three. And then good hustle by Jefferson getting a ball, and here Cook just he sees that he's got his guy right there. Good pass and finish inside by Parker. And then Noko continues to expand his offensive game.
Noko's got 8 with 12 rebounds, Mike. He's off the floor. Jete has come back in for the Tigers. Cook. Foul line, lob for Jefferson. And he fights and scores to tie the game at 54.
Jete fighting on that pump fake. Good move inside by Jefferson.
7:40 to play. Tied up at 54. Clemson's gotten into the bench a little bit. McDaniels is over there on that bench, and here's Blossomgame, another one.
Well, you can just see the good coaches shaking their heads saying, where did this come from?
Deron Blossomgame has got 9.5 and 14 in the game. Cook the runner, no good. Jete the rebound. Fowler's got Thornton to beat. Double crossover and lay up good. Timeout for Mike Krzyzewski. Clemson's largest lead of the game. And 2 guys not at the top of the scouting report. Blossomgame and Noko been carrying the Tigers.
No question. We talked about other people needing to step up and help McDaniel, but how about this? Blossomgame with he's almost matched his season total for threes.
Well, and then, how about Fowler and Tyler Thornton going about 40 feet one-on-one?
And we've seen that out of Clemson in this half. They've been much more aggressive, pushing the ball up the floor off the dribble. Started out with Hall.
7-2 run by the Tigers have got them this 5-point lead. And it's of note with the redshirt freshman Blossomgame. A devastating knee injury, leg injury, Mike, as a high school senior. He missed all last year. Brad Brownell shared with me the other day, he's just kind of rounding into form. Well, if he's kind of rounding into form, where did he round into form?
I'm going to say, get double-double out of him in the ACC games and competition. It's going to be a huge lift for the Tigers.
Clemson 12 of 22 from the floor. Duke 7 of 19 in this half. Well, the poise of Mike Krzyzewski's teams will be tested here in the last 6.5 minutes. Rodney Hood with 5 to shoot. And a hand check on DeMarcus Harrison gets us to the break. 5 points, the lead for the Tigers.
Blossomgame knocks down a couple of threes. West, on this game, they've combined for 22 points, 22 rebounds, 4 blocks. On the season, they combined for 9 points and 10 rebounds.
There are Staples make more happen moments here in the second half. Noko and Blossomgame. Cook a 3. Oh, off a deflection. Duke got a second chance. And Cook's got 8 in the game with a pair of triples here in the second half.
And how many times over the years have we seen Duke get threes on offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities? Parker making that hustle play.
2-point game. We work towards 6 minutes to go. McDaniels is back on the floor now for the Tigers with Harrison, Noko, Blossomgame, and Rod Hall, who's got the basketball. Hall into traffic. McDaniels around Thornton. Into the paint. Scoops. Scores in the foul. 21 now for McDaniels. Thornton, his fourth.
Yeah, good square up. Again, the pump fake and the jump stop, getting in, just so difficult to defend when you can do all facets of the game.
Clemson, though, just 9 of 17 at the line. McDaniels makes that one up. He is 7 of 8 now at the strike. 5-point game again. A little pressure here now offered by the Tigers.
He's trying to disrupt the rhythm for Duke a little bit, take some time off the clock. Now in his zone.
Parker, baseline jumper. Too strong. Blossom game had it. Knocked out of bounds by Blue Devil. Well, Jabari Parker has had a pretty good day here today. He's got 14, but he's had 10 20-point games. Who holds the Duke freshman record? Out of West Philadelphia, Gene Banks had 11 of them in your Final Four run, Mike, to St. Louis in 77-78.
Well, I got to hold it for all of 1 year.
That is our Toyota ACC trivia question for Gene Banks. Well, one of the marvelous players in ACC history.
We got the clip. We'll get to it, but you and I agree that the greatest dunk in the history of over Ralph Sampson up in Charlottesville. Yeah.
And to your point, only because David Thompson couldn't dunk it, right?
Yeah. How many highlight reels? He probably would have had the top 50.
The foul on Thornton, by the way, was his 5th. So one of Duke's best on-ball defenders is disqualified.
Yep. Well, that's the thing right now with Noko, that at the end of the game, if you have to foul him because he comes in as a 53% field goal shoot or free throw shooter.
Noko missed them both. Stays a 62-57 game. Dawkins has come on the floor to spell Thornton. Suleiman, sophomore on the drive, blocked by McDaniels. And a backcourt foul on Parker.
I don't know that I can remember seeing a player like McDaniels on the defensive end of the floor. You can't even see him most times, and then he just comes out of nowhere and saves the play.
7 blocks today for Clemson. And McDaniels and Noko have combined on most of them. Harrison free throw good. Six-point game with 5:04 to go. Both of them good. The largest lead of the day for the Tigers. Hood, the Blue Devils' leading scorer. Cook on the drive, pushed it up, won't go. They battle inside. Hall rebounds.
Hood was upset on that play. He had Noko on him, and he wanted to clear out so he could take him, but Parker stayed in the area.
Boy, Cook really out to defend Hall. Try and take Clemson out of rhythm, right? Rod Hall baseline. Fights through, cannot score. Dawkins. Here's the outlet to Cook. Hood lost it and then saved it to Parker. Three-pointer no good. Suleiman. There goes Cook through traffic. Dawkins a runner, won't go. McDaniels the rebound. We go under 4 minutes to play.
And Dawkins a little slow getting up. He hit the deck hard after that layup.
And Clemson going to slow it down. Duke's only shooting 31% from the floor in the second half. The ACC's best field goal shooting team at 49-4 coming in.
Parker quiet, only 4 points in the half.
Harrison backing all the way in. Blossom game. Is he still feeling it? No. And McDaniels can't save it before it goes over the end line. Out of bounds. Duke trails by 7. The Blue Devils under 40% from the floor.
Everybody has shown up and really been terrific for this whole game.
By the way, one number that's jumping off the page is the rebound total. Clemson has out-rebounded Duke 41-27. That's the most allowed to a Blue Devil opponent this year.
And it's, you know, you look at it, and for Duke, you know, with their three-point shooting, they can get in this game in a hurry.
Into traffic, Hood draws a foul.
But the key thing I'm sure that Mike Krzyzewski is talking about is that Clemson's shooting 52% for the half. So they've got to get stops down at the other end of the floor.
Mike Krzyzewski setting his team's defensive alignment as Rodney Hood goes to the line. 86% on the year, 2 out of 3 today. He'll get a couple here. And the left-hander good. He averaged 10 points and 5 rebounds in his rookie season at Mississippi State. And you mentioned he might have been their best player a year ago in practice.
In practice, yeah. And rebounds his position well. 5 positive assist to turnover ratio. Not a lot of weaknesses in his game.
Working toward 3 minutes. 6-point Clemson lead. And again, pressure out of the man-to-man. Also, Matt Jones, a freshman from DeSoto, Texas, appears for the first time. He played 2 minutes the other night against Georgia Tech. Did not play last Saturday at South Bend in the loss to Notre Dame. But with Thornton being disqualified on fouls, and there's a foul by Cook. And Quinn Cook's drawn his third. That is 10 now against the Blue Devils. 2 shots the rest of the way on common fouls.
Hall has been terrific and goes away from the screen, and that's what causes the foul. One of the things you love about a point guard when he's in a plus 80% free throw shooter in an endgame situation, that's a huge plus.
Clemson is 12 of 22, though, at the line today. Hall has hit the only free throw he's tried. And Quinn Cook having a long conversation with veteran referee Brian Kersey about the whistle on the foul that was his third. Hall free throw good. Well, if this is any indication where we're going with this league this year, it's going to be quite a ride to Greensboro, isn't it?
Yeah. And I tell you what, it's like it normally does. The league is going to be won on the road. The most successful road teams. But this one we talk about is such a huge game for Clemson. They lost their only home game against Florida State last time out. 6 of their next 8 are going to be on the road.
Yep. Cook in the front court, defended by Harrison. Largest lead of the game now for the Tigers at 8. With 2:40 to play, Dawkins a triple in the right corner. Blossom gained the rebound. Double teamed and a held ball that will go to Clemson. Parker and Hood locked up. Jerron Blossom game. Pretty heady play by the Blue Devils off the rebound. And backcourt pressure now, Mike, offered by Coach Krzyzewski's team.
Yeah, we're getting Jones in there. It's going to be an offense for defense and substitution with him and Dawkins.
McDaniels against Suleiman. JJ into the front court. Boy, the pressure's tight, and there's a foul, and that's Suleiman. His fourth.
Boy, he came within inches of stepping over that half-court line. A little curious that they had, that they had McDaniels bring the ball up because they wanted to test Suleiman and his ability to defend. It was almost a backcourt.
Free throw by Hall, good. Rod Hall has got 10 all in the second half, and he's 4 of 4 at the line. Clemson, after McDaniels and Roper took command of most of the scoring in the first half, now's found 4 guys to double figures. second one no good.
Well, we talking about getting the huge contributions from Noko and Blazagame in this last 20 minutes.
Absolutely. 9-point game, 2:15 left. Jones just 2 of 13 from 3. Dawkins much better than that. Misses at range, and there'll be a foul called on McDaniels. He hooked Parker underneath the basket.
And that just puts them into the penalty with their 17th foul. But that three-point shot has not been there for the Blue Devils in the second half like it was in the first half.
So here is the 4-time state champion in Illinois, Jabari Parker. Free throw good.
Duke's last field goal at the 6:23 mark.
They've had 2 droughts here today, Mike.
Yep. 3 of 10 from 3 in the half.
8-point game. Second one no good. Noko tried to run it down. Dawkins commits the foul. So now 2 at the other end of the floor for Landry Noko on Dawkins' 3rd foul. And Landry Noko now has 8 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks. And has been fighting it at the line. He's missed his only 4 tries.
All of 4. You look at the bigs for Clemson coming into this year, only 310 minutes combined with all of them, so not a lot of court time. But this young man looks like he's going to earn some shots and some more time on the floor.
He's got a double-double now. He and Blossom game with double-doubles today for the Tigers. Under 2 to go. It's a 10-point Clemson lead. Hood to Cook. Skip across. Dawkins a 3. Won't go. McDaniels the rebound. Up the floor. Harrison lost it.
Yeah, mistake that time by Harrison.
Dawkins a triple. Off and McDaniels the rebound. Duke's now gone 5 minutes without a field goal.
And Andre Dawkins really suffering through a poor shooting day. 1 of 7 now.
4th on Cook. With 1:21 to play.
Hood and Parker he is equally as hard.
Yep. And here is Hall at the line. 4 out of 5 is Hall. Free throw no good. A year ago, Rod Hall averaged 5 points, 3 assists, and shot 42% against the league. Comes into today averaging 10 points and nearly 4 assists. And he makes the back end. 11 for Hall. Duke is under 30% from the floor here in the second half. Trailing by 11 now. And Matt Jones a 3, no good. McDaniels the rebound. Long pass. Here's Blossom game. He will go to the iron and poked out by Jones. Clemson will maintain possession with 1:04 to play.
Yeah, and those are 2 late possessions now that I think Brad Brownell would have liked that and pull it out and run some clock and take a risky play.
Shimmy Ojale, the freshman from Kansas, onto the floor wearing number 20 for the Blue Devils. Last time he played was New Year's Eve against Elon. Final minute. Harrison with 20 to shoot.
Well, Duke not fouling, so
Hall now with 10 on the clock.
what a huge, you use the term bounce back in the open. And that puts an exclamation point on a huge Clemson win.
Cook, front rim miss. Final 30 seconds. Clemson, who shot 30% here and lost on Thursday night to Florida State by 15, scored only 41 points, is on the verge of beating number 16 Duke for their second ACC win.
Incredible turnaround. I think a lot of it is due to that guy's second half start. McDaniels was terrific all game long, but he really set the tone in the first part of the second half.
I agree with you. They had to have somebody steer the ship, and Hall was the guy.
Yep, and that's just amazing transformation in 48 hours.
Absolutely.
From what you saw against Florida State.
Mike, as a player, 48 hours, you don't, less than that, you don't have a lot of time to think about it, do you?
No, and maybe it's best that you get back out on the floor and just, turn around, shed that game.
Duke has Virginia on Monday night. A quick turnaround for the Blue Devils, who are shooting a season worst 34% here today. 13 seconds left. Shot clock's off. Blue Devils aren't fouling. And DeMarcus Harrison is going to let the clock run out. And Clemson has won the ball game. They take the floor at Littlejohn. Brad Brownell's team goes to 2-1. Mike Krzyzewski's team now becomes the 6th winning team in the ACC.
Well, it's like we thought we knew it was going to happen this year, Wes. Home court's going to be tough.
13-point victory for the Clemson Tigers. 72-59, the final. For Mike Cheminsky, Western